Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. I am Rashi, and I welcome you all on this Insta Live session today on behalf of Arch College of Design and Business. I am currently in my second year and I'm pursuing interior designing, and I'm immensely grateful that I got this opportunity to moderate this session of Campus to Company today. We would be accompanied by very special guests. So we'll have Miss Ijya Gupta, who is an interior designer and founder of Unmade Design, and we'll have Miss Yamini Malani, a fashion designer and founder of Yamini Malani label. Both of them are our esteemed alumni, and I'm really excited to get into a conversation with them. I would also like to mention that we would be taking up any queries or any advice that you would want to take from our alumni, or any questions that you have. So feel free to drop them down in the comments. So we'll take them up in the ending. Hello, good evening.
Hi Rashi,
How are
what's up?
you?
Hi,
I'm good. How are you?
all good, all good.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, good
Hi.
evening. How are you
How
guys?
are you? I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, absolutely good.
Okay. So thank you for joining us today.
Most
So
welcome.
before getting started, I would just request you to introduce yourselves, your labels, just give us a brief introduction about you.
I have been a part of Arch. I was in Arch in the year 2007, and after that, I had done postgrad. So after I did my postgrad, I thought of starting a women's wear label, which actually started in after a year I did my postgrad. So since 7 years I'm into this, and last year in the lockdown, I even started kids wear label. So that is how it is right now. And yeah, it is a one woman army for sure.
Amazing.
Wow, man. So nice to hear everybody from Arch right now because since so long we all have been missing you guys a lot. Really.
Oh, this is really
Uh,
exciting, talking to. You can go and introduce yourself as well.
yeah. So actually, we have started our studio from 2018. I have
Okay.
passed Arch in the year of 2018. Our Actually, our batch was of 4 years from 2015 to 2019. But due to some reasons, I had to drop the college and leave the last year. Yeah. So, and after that, we started our design studio. It's an interior furniture product and artwork design studio. It's based in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, and we work pan Madhya Pradesh.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so I'll get in with the question and answers. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, I would like to ask, let's get to the beginning. Like, what made you choose Arch? And what were the values, you took up from our college, and which helped you in maybe professional or personal life?
So yeah, it's the Jaipur, it's the vibe of Jaipur actually, which took me from Bhopal to Arch. Seriously, I cannot express what I feel about the culture and the people of Jaipur because I have spent my 3 years there. Now, and before going to Rajasthan, I was seriously unaware of anything about Rajasthan. I simply Googled about Rajasthan, that what's the culture, how the people are, and what they eat, how's the
Mhm.
air, how's the water. You know, everything you need to research about the place we are going to shift yourself for some time. So after searching all that, I just thought, okay, let's move there. Then I went there. I met Archana ma'am, I met Binoy sir, and I met Megha ma'am. And everybody was so helpful and so generous, seriously. So I decided I'm gonna be here. That's
Okay. What about you, ma'am?
So for me, it was like I am a little fond of prints, and
Mm-hmm.
Jaipur was one place that I was keen to come to because if you see my label, it has more of those floral block prints and all of those hand block printed. So I wanted to learn the craft and everything of Jaipur, the Rajasthan craft. So that is what made me come to Jaipur, one thing. And then, of course, the vibe and everything, as she said. That was one of the factors because, yeah, I stay in Kolkata, and from here I wanted to go to a peaceful city. At that time, I was in 2007. At that time, it wasn't as busy as it is right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that time was really good for me. And then of course, knowing everybody there and the teachers, of course, they have changed a lot. I don't see few more of them. Most of them I don't see in Arch at the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
Archana ma'am's way of teaching, way of bringing up her students, that was one thing that actually inspired me. She was one who has always empowered women, and
Yeah.
yes, still now also, I am also running a women's wear label. So that was one thing that, got me into it and
Yeah.
pulled me towards art.
Okay, amazing. Okay,
The way she
so
holds,
okay.
the way she holds the people who are in her institute. She continuously try to inspire people.
Yes,
True. Yeah.
true. Agreed. It's very inspiring. She is. Okay, so I'm in my second year, currently,
Hmm.
and I would soon be going up for internships. Like it would be like my first internship. And then there are
Oh,
many students who are doing internships. So I would like to ask, like, how was your first internship experience like? Like the very first time you went in for internship? Like because I'm really nervous.
no,
So with
no.
me it was, yeah, so with me it was that I had joined one export house,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, at that time, we did not have so many facilities that we have today. So it was altogether a very different experience what you would have right now. And yeah, that was one thing that I would actually give you a heads up that what we did is totally different what you're going to do right now. Definitely, you would have more exploring scope more than
Mm-hmm.
what we had. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And
Yes.
for me, my very first internship was about like I was doing nothing about interior design in the internship. Seriously. I mean, if you are going at some place, very commercial place for you,
Oh.
because before going, these are very different. So my habit was like we used to work in the labs and with the teachers and with
Mhm.
our friends along. Friendships
Right.
in commercial places, the things are really very different. You have no teacher there, you have no open places there, you
Yeah.
have limitations, you have time limitations, you have deadlines of the work given to you, right? There are some things like that which are very different from both the places. So
Mm-hmm.
it was quite a strange experience for me, but simultaneously it was like that was the inspirational key for me to move forward in the life.
Mm-hmm. Right. We are very nervous right now, but yeah, I hope that turns
No,
out
no,
to be a
no,
great
don't be
experience.
nervous. Just be mentally prepared for a little bit of change in your life, and that's it. Everything will
Yeah,
be sorted.
agree, right. So, like, then, what was the first project you guys ever took up? Like, when you got a job and like you were actually working, what was like the first project and what difficulties did you face? Like, working first time as a proper designer, like, how did that feel like?
So honestly, I have never taken up any job. After my postgrad, I directly started the label. So for
Oh wow.
me, it was very challenging because whatever I knew and whatever I have come all the way, it is all me. You would always see the elements of Yamini Malani in the whole label. And
Mm-hmm.
the experience is always and always by the explorations I have done and
Mm-hmm.
what all I have gathered from talking to people also, hearing their experiences. That is how I have actually brought it here. And the first time when all of this started, obviously very, very nervous that how is it going to come up? How are people going to take it? So, but then, yes, it is altogether it was a new experience then. And yes, I think it was obviously struggling for me for a few months, but then, yes, it did hit later on.
Amazing. You're really inspiring.
Thank you.
I'm inspired too. Directly, she opened up her own label. Wow, great.
Yes, that's amazing. That's like something we dream of.
Yeah.
But all obviously, even if you dream, you should have that passion to actually go
Yes.
through it because there will be so many struggles in your life, and there will be times that you would also feel that I want to give it up. I just don't want to take it further. And it has happened with me as well. But then at that time, I was more like, if I give this up right now, this wasn't I was dreaming of. I was dreaming of something bigger than this. And if I have come all this way, I should not stop. I should actually move further.
Wow. You're right.
Difficulties actually inspire to move forward.
Yeah.
So, I was going to start my office from 2018. We
Okay.
prepared everything, we decided everything, we
Mhm.
chose the place where we are going to set up our business. We got everything, but then suddenly COVID. It was the time of
Oh.
COVID.
Oh God, yes. Good.
It was the time of so much of pressure in our heads that we have promised some people that we are going to give our projects to you in that particular time. And since we have no office where we are going to set up and where we are going to do the work, so
Right.
I during the COVID time, it was our really very struggling time. People say that when you
Mhm.
come to the industry, your initial years are very struggling. So
Yeah.
my initial days were COVID days, if you
Oh.
understand. So I just worked from home. I gave my best to whatever I can give to my clients. There were so much of hectic meetings because there were, so many things were going on in the country. People were dying, people were losing their loved ones. Everything was disturbed, and at the same time, you have to make up your mind to do the work. You
Hmm.
have to work, and at the same time, you will have to think that कहीं मेरे लेबर को कुछ ना हो जाए, कहीं वहां पर जो काम कर रहे हैं उनको कुछ ना हो जाए.
Hmm.
कुछ लेबर उनकी फैमिली सारे लेबर घर जा रहे हैं. Everybody is leaving शहर and going to villages. तो बहुत ज़्यादा it was so much struggling. Now slowly it has come in a track, and we are giving our best to the client. So it is going on right now.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds tough already, but yes, like you did
But
go through it. Will be great
difficulties
ahead.
inspire. Difficulties
Yes, it
inspire.
does. It makes you do better.
Yeah,
It does.
obviously. It opens up the opportunities for you, new opportunities. We have started in thinking like uh, how we can convert our spaces according to the COVID, dude, after the COVID times. मतलब if we see the history में ये हुआ है कि जब भी कुछ भी ऐसा कोई पैंडेमिक आया है, तो there
Hmm.
are changes in design industry सबसे पहले.
Hmm. Right.
the spaces have changed, the product marketing has changed, the product designing marketing has changed, everything has changed. So we will have to look up to these spaces after the COVID crisis has ended. So
Yes.
yeah, we are going completely in a rooted design basically if I define my process of design.
Right. So, like the industry, it is such a competitive place, it's hard. We know it's hard out there, especially when you're out of, freshly out of college and everything. So, like, what is the advice you'd like to give people like students like us who are just going to, get out, maybe like the fourth year students who are just gonna go out into the industry, and how did you say so strong, like what gave you that motivation? How did
If
you
you have
manage
to
it?
do it, if you have to do it, if you have the will to do it, everything is possible. That is what I had in myself because I wanted to achieve that. And yes, of course, I have struggled for years, but then yes, now it is at a very good level. So I obviously would say everybody that never ever give back, give up on anything. Just learn, keep learning, and just move forward. Definitely, you're gonna reach it to that place. Slow and steady, whatever, whatever actually happens. Yeah.
Yeah, if you are stepping your foot in the market, then you will have to be very patient about everything, whatever is going on around you, right? You cannot say कि यार मुझे ये project क्यों नहीं मिल रहा मुझे ये project चाहिए I want it as soon as possible I want to complete it as soon as possible I want to earn money as soon as possible there's nothing as soon as possible
Mm.
you know so we need to be patient for the things we want in our lives so that also connected with the the business industry yeah because
Mhm.
uh, everything comes in its time.
Right. So, like, while working, like now, like working in the industry, tell us about like any movement or any, project or your collection or anything which like you're really proud of, or like something heartwarming, like maybe with your customers, some sort of experience you'd like to share.
So, if you have checked all this while, I was not into maternity and all, but last year in COVID, I started maternity wear and not for the bump actually, but for feeding friendly dresses. Yeah. So honestly, I have got feedback saying that this is something that I've worn like after years. I've worn something which is very comfortable after months. I mean, I've been getting these kinds of reviews more. That is very good for me because I have not, see, I don't have a baby yet, but I have to understand what a feeding mother would want, what kind of quality or what kind of I mean, you could say comfort she wants for her feeding baby. So the thing is that always till now that the kind of designs I have been coming up with. So during this lockdown, during this COVID period, those things were not much taken care of because everyone was back inside the house and they were not really going out. So the only thing was working from home and staying at home. So you had to get in something that, you could keep your brand moving and even the people who are buying would be very comfortable in buying that. So I started with a line of pure cotton loungewears, work from home loungewears, and those maternity wears. That actually boomed up in the last 2 years for me, 2020 and 2021. So that I understand that that wasn't something that I was looking forward in the future when I started this label. But yes, now I feel that this was something that people really wanted, but they didn't get it earlier. So
Hmm.
now I feel that this is something that I'm little proud of, actually a lot proud of, won't deny. But yeah, when you go in future, when you keep moving, you don't know what is going to come in front of you next and how you're going to tackle it. But with time you learn, with time you experience, and you do reach to a place that yes, something I'm now gaining out of what I had actually learned, and something you learn from people, and then you actually put it in your own designs. So this particular part that I'm doing since 2 years, I'm very proud of that. Yes, I have gotten something that was not there for the people who were really wanting, and they have given me this feedback that we were looking for these kind of dresses, and we don't, we've got someone who is actually catering to it.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, for me, the most changing times were when I was working in Jaipur, and suddenly I had to leave Jaipur and come back to Bhopal. Since I have been living here since childhood, but still those 4 years, 3 years, 4 years working in Jaipur changed me a lot. I mean, my process of thinking and my way of living, my way of uh, seeing things differently. Uh, I was developing more into art and design. But when I came back from Jaipur, I saw that the market of uh, Bhopal is completely different. People here are not that much aware of art and design than they are aware in Rajasthan. So, to tackle with the people here in a daily basis was a very big challenge for me, because here I had to explain that why am I making this design? Why am I giving this particular material? Why am I using this particular space for that particular reason? I have to provide, there was a lack of mutual understanding between me and the people with whom I'm dealing with.
Mm.
So, in those years, I mean, those years what? In the previous years, I would say, because it was COVID in between, and then after COVID, I suddenly have to tackle all these things and come up with good things. Matlab, I have, what would you say? I have improved my skills of making people understand what I want.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing I bring on myself. So now I can make understand anything to anybody. I think that's the big thing I've got.
That's amazing. That's actually needed. That's just really
Yeah, it's
needed.
it's too needed. You will have to tell people what you feel in
Ex-
words, in your design, in market language, especially.
Yes,
Yeah.
Especially you have
agreed.
to gain that market language. So that's
Yes,
very
you're right.
important.
So, okay. So you come, ma'am, Ijay, ma'am, you come from interior background, and Yamini, ma'am, you come from fashion. So, if you were to interchange your fields, would you do that? And like, if yes, like for a day, what area would you like to explore in the respective field, like when you switch?
Sorry, I didn't get you. What?
So, like, if you switch your fields for a day,
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
so what would you like to do? Like, which part of the field would you like to explore? What would you like to do as a fashion interior designer per se?
That is tricky because I have never thought of it, and I don't know if I become or if I take up interior designing for a day. Probably I would, get into designing stores or I don't know what, because I would also have that thing in behind my back that yes, I have that fashion background knowledge also. So if I had to switch, or if, God forbid, if I don't have to switch, whatever. So I would not understand, actually. I don't have that background yet, but then only and only regarding the store outlets, the visual merchandising stuff, I can get into that majorly. I mean, I can't do anything else apart from that. That's what I can understand.
If I had to change my field, then I would love to change my field, and I would open up the clothing stores and design the clothing stores. The cloth label will be mine. The design will be mine. Everything will be, I'm fond of fashion also because um, in art we all have lived together, fashion people, interior people, graphics people, jewelry people. We all have mixed up each other completely. So that sense of fashion came into my life also after going to Jaipur and meeting the people there, the stylists there. I have discovered a sense of fashion within me. So yeah, I would like to improvise the fashion, and most importantly, if I would be a fashion designer, then I would have promoted the Indian art and culture a lot, a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, next thing that I would like to ask is that, we all have those like super huge wild ideas, like, which are totally crazy, especially like when we are like in a foundation younger stages, everything is hypothetical for us. So we're like, we'll do this, we'll do that. But now that when you grow up and you get into the industry, there are restraints like, you have a budget restraint, client restraint, the needs you have to satisfy. So what do you think? Like, till what extent can you go with your wild thoughts while you're in the industry with all the restraints on you? Like, now that you have a budget to follow, you have needs of a client, like a client might need this, and you can't, there are some boundaries. So, like, till what extent is it possible? Go with your wild thinking.
I think honestly, with fashion, you can do that. Still, if you have those wild thoughts, you can create whatever you want. And with the budgeting and all, of course, there's no limit. Even in that budget, also, you can get something that a client wants. So, your wild thoughts, keep it behind your mind and still implement it on the design however you can. That is how you can still have those, going with the design, even in that budget.
Mm-hmm.
That's the drawback with us, ma'am.
That's true.
We
Okay.
have to be in the budget. We have to, compromise with the designs a lot due to the budget and due to the मेरी वाइफ ये बोल रही है, मेरा हस्बैंड ये बोल रहा है, मेरे बच्चे ये बोल रहे हैं. All these things come while you design a house. There are hell lots of problems when you design, but yeah, there are some strategies which you can follow. घर में किसकी ज्यादा चलती है? बीवी की ज्यादा चलती है, बीवी को पटाओ. अगर हस्बैंड की ज्यादा चलती है, हस्बैंड को पटाओ. बच्चे की ज्यादा चलती है, बच्चे से बात करो. All these things. You have to connect to the people for whom you are designing, for the people whom you are creating the space where they are going to spend their most of the time. You have to connect with them. So these all comes under the market strategy.
Right. Okay, so like if you were to, maybe talk to your foundation self, like when you were in your first year.
Wow, wow, great.
So, like, what would you say, like, at this point of life where you are right now, what would you like that version of you to know, or maybe like what kind of advice you might give her, or like, maybe what you thought when you were in the foundation, and then now, like, what is that thought process like?
That's a very tricky thing because obviously at that time I did not think of all this. And if
Yeah.
I had to advise myself, the first year student, um, everyone knows I was a very, very bubbly girl. And I always used to, you know, not really get into it and not really just, doing the work from the top. I used to go into it, obviously, but then if that advice, if an advice if I have to give right now, I would be actually I don't know because at that time and today it's like completely different two people, and I was focused then. I am too focused right now also, but I just don't know what particular advice at that time. I am really clueless at the moment because it's like around how many years? 10, 10, 15 years back. It's so difficult to actually advise myself there. But yes, I kept that determination then also, and I still have that particular determination. So I would have advised myself that only, like, keep going, huh? Don't stop.
Yeah.
Ma'am is so much, keep going, and she's keep going, going and going.
Yeah, because it's been so long, you know.
You've
Yeah,
To,
grown a lot.
so no,
yeah, a
10,
lot.
11
Yeah.
years. I don't know what will I give. I don't think I will give any advice because at that time I had the mindset that I want to be something in life. I want to be something, and that thing right now also goes on in my mind that I want to be something. I want to be something uh, useful and someone who can, you know, मतलब एक होता है ना कि अगर किसी ने birth किया है, somebody has taken birth, so that birth should be fruitful in any ways. So that was my motive before also and now also, that if I'm doing something, if I am giving my time, if I'm giving my energy to something, then that should be for the betterment of this uh, society, of this universe actually. Because I have never thought of small things, small places, so yeah, I take everything for the universe. If I'm doing something, then it will vibrate around the people, me, and people will vibrate around other people. So that is the only thing which I will say, that I want to be something. I want to give something good to the society. That's
Hmm. Right. So, like you have, like again, you have been working in the industry. So, is like it's been a while, and especially Yamina, you have been working for such a long time. You have seen the industry grow and change. Like from that point of like you told me that we have different things right now as we are in college than
Yes.
it was before, and things like sustainability and now technological advances which has come up. So, like how do you think, what are your thoughts on like how the design industry have been pushed towards these concepts?
So what I feel now is that people are more towards sustainable products. They take care of the environment more. But
Mm-hmm.
then technology also, yes, it has played a very, very, very big role in changing the designs and developing most of our designs now. Earlier back then, with limited resources, what we had, it was more of, designing only particular stuff, like not really for the ramp, not really for a particular occasion. But yes, now people are designing everything that they can think of, and that can, bring up more changes to the society, more changes to the environment. But yes, even looking at the environment, they're not really hampering the environment much. So that way, it has changed a lot, and yes, it has impacted also a lot. So for us, people who have been in the industry in past 10 years, they have actually grown with the change. They have also adapted themselves with all the changes that has come up. And it was very challenging for us because you guys have started learning with this process only, and we have been learning with the process that was way back. So changing all of that definitely was a challenge to us, and then adapting them was more challenging. So that way, yes, I agree. Sustainability has come in. There's so much of social media that has come in, that is pushing everyone to do more, to outshine more. So yeah, that way I agree. It has impacted us a lot who have seen the change.
Yes.
we can, I can relate all these things from ma'am to the architects and to the designers. whose work we Google, you know. There was no Google at those times. We are Googling the
Yes,
works which have been made before internet was born. It's
Right.
a very great thing. If you pay attention to all these little things, then people say that you need to learn this software, that software. Yeah, of course, that is very, very important. But what are we seeing in internet? In internet, we are seeing the works of the people who have done work without it.
yes,
So that's the biggest thing we need to learn from the internet, that how not to work with internet.
That is true. So, is there any like advice you would like to give the new designers, budding designers who dream of becoming a designer? Anything like that?
hmm. You have to keep learning constantly. Today also I'm learning a lot from you guys. So if you consider yourself that, I've learned a lot, that is the end, honestly. You should always be learning, you should always have an open mind and never actually give up on your setbacks. Keep learning from those and keep talking to all the people in your environment, any other field. You would definitely, get inspiration from them. You could get inspired in a very good way. That would definitely be a part of your journey also. It's not that this person is in this field and you would not get much of the inspiration from that person, but that is not a true fact. Even Ijia right now would be inspiring me with a lot of things that she's not a part of my field, but yes, her words would also be an inspiration to me. So that way, yes, you can always be an open mind and keep learning constantly and do not give up.
Yeah, keep learning is very, very important. You know, if you are seeing an small worm just on the floor, you can learn a lot of from that worm. You know, that worm is very patient. It's very patient. It does not move. You learn each and everything from each and every creature around you. So that's the thing I would also like to add my words in ma'am's thoughts, that keep learning. Keep learning is very important.
Actually, really true. It's actually true. So we are also open for any questions that anyone might have, so that like they can just drop it down in the comments, so we can take them as well. If there is anything anyone would like to ask, or while they are thinking about their questions, okay, let's discuss something more. So, is there something that you would like to change about the industry or the way it works right now?
Mhm. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's working quite well right now, and change is constant. It will happen. Something or the other will come up. But I personally don't want any particular change at the moment. And
There's
obviously,
no
if it comes to, yeah,
particular.
yeah, because I'm someone, yes, who takes time to adapt to changes. But obviously, 2 years back, COVID hit India, hit in the world. So many changes we already have adapted to. So
Yes.
every day is a new thing. Every day is a new learning for us also. So I would say, nahi ho to theek hai. But yes, of course, if there is a change, you will learn, you will explore, you will expand yourself. So
Yeah, you can't change the industry. You will have to change every second for the industry.
yes.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So, like, who were your inspirations? Like, even still, who is there someone who inspires you a lot? maybe not even a human, anything like a collection or anything which like inspires you?
A lot of things, actually. Not one particular thing inspires me, but there's so many things around. Probably, if I see something or any person if I'm talking to, there is definitely one or two things I do catch hold of, and I do keep in mind that yes, this can be also implemented somewhere, be it any small thing, be it any big thing also. So there's nothing in particular, but yeah, everything around me is inspiring.
For me, uh, I think silence is my inspiration. I think
Oh, wow.
silence is my inspiration, and at the same time, uh, music is also my inspiration. When there is silence, there is something else, and whenever music hits the silence, there is something else. So that hit point of between music and silence is my inspiration, I would say.
Amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, have you ever considered doing like if you were not a designer, then what would you be doing right now? Have you
I
ever
think
thought
I would
about
have been, I think if not a designer, I would have been a counselor somewhere.
it?
I think that about myself. I'm someone who's always advising people for no reason. And yes, I think I would have been one of the philosophers or the counselors in this world, apart from if not a designer.
Okay, amazing.
I think I would have been a person who does not want to stay at a same place. To
Mm-hmm.
the people you call, as you can read in my Instagram, it's Bavri.
Yeah.
So I would like to roam here and there, doing any stuff, whatever comes. I would I would be a wanderer.
Hmm.
Amazing. Wow. Okay, anyone who has any questions can please drop them down. If anybody would like to ask anything, any advice. Okay, I think we don't have any questions yet. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for giving your time. It's
Thank you
really
so
Thank
much.
you.
appreciated. It was
Thank
amazing talking to you. I was really
It,
excited, honestly. Like, just getting to talk to like you kind of are super seniors or like super seniors.
yeah.
So it's
But
really
yes,
great.
it was good. I actually learned a lot from you guys as well today.
Yeah,
Thank you.
me
Thank
too.
you so
I too
much.
learned a lot. Ma'am is the very super senior of us, and I've got so much of knowledge
You're
about
making me
everything.
feel
What
very old now.
No, ma'am. It's it's from heart. It's from heart.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
joining us.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank